In this video, I'm going to teach you how to bulk clean, bulk healthy, and bulk in a way that's going to contribute to your aesthetics and your strength. I've learned over time this is much more an art than a science, and I'm going to share my tips and tricks with you. Now, I've always been a big guy, but when I ran marathons, I was 220 pounds, and through 3 years, I added 100 pounds. I would estimate of that 100 pounds, about 85 were muscle, about 15 were fat, a natural byproduct of gaining weight. But there are many ways that we can mitigate that. Now, I come out with this video at the same time that I've come out with a bulking program. That is in the link in the description and the pinned comment. Go ahead and check that out. If you'd like to support me, support the channel, and smash your goals. Without further ado, let's get stuck into it. The most important thing to recognize when you're bulking is calories in, calories out. This is a true statement with some caveats. The more calories you eat, the more weight you will gain. 3,500 calories is 1 pound, and vice versa. If you're not gaining weight, it's as simple as eat more food. Sort of. Now, important to recognize that calorimetry is an imperfect science. It is how much energy does it require to raise 1 liter of water by 1 degree Celsius. That's how we measure the intake that we have, the energy that we're taking into our body. Carbohydrates have a density of 4 calories per gram. Protein also has a density of 4 calories per gram, and fat has a density of 9 calories per gram. This is the entirety of how you will gain or lose weight. The only exception to this is alcohol, which has a density of 4 calories per gram, but we don't really talk about that because it has no productive place in gaining weight, in losing weight. It's a literal toxin you're putting into your body. It's not going to help you function optimally regardless of your goal. Less alcohol is better. I don't care what the research says. Less alcohol will always be better. Now, those are your macronutrients. Generally speaking, broad strokes, and I go into this much more detail in my PDF, but broad strokes, protein is going to help you rebuild your muscle. Fat is going to help you have lubricated joints, healthy skin, healthy hair, and carbohydrates is your fuel source for the vast majority of energy. That, combined with creatine, that basically covers you for any energy source for resistance training. Now, the reason I say it's all about calories in, calories out, sort of, is because when you ingest food, it has not entered your system. It's simply gone into your mouth. And our digestive tract is, excuse me for being a bit gross, but it's a tube from your mouth to your anus. And until something goes out of that tube and into your body, you still haven't actually ingested it. So you might be eating the calories, but it's calories in and calories out through movement and calories out through shitting. Simple as that. So we need to make sure that we're absorbing as much food as possible. And this is where micronutrients come into play. It's going to be well outside the scope of this conversation, but generally speaking, micronutrients are going to help with all of the processes involved in digesting your macronutrients. These are your vitamins and minerals. Broad strokes, vitamins generally from fruits and vegetables, minerals generally from animal sources. Now, again, total oversimplification, but a reasonable way to conceptualize. Now, with our macronutrients and our macronutrients, the biggest challenge is the practicality. Someone saying, I'm just not hungry, I don't want to eat, and that's totally fine. But it's not fine if you want to gain weight. Generally speaking, we don't have a weight gain problem in the Western world, and so there's not a lot of attention given to how can you get more calories in. The only people who give it attention is powerlifters and strongmen and bodybuilders. But frankly, in the strength sports world, a lot of people will just show you how they're eating cheeseburgers and pizzas. And of course, that's going to get calories in, but it's not going to get the right macronutrient profile. And it's certainly not going to tick the micronutrient box. So practicality, here's one trick that I use to be able to get in more calories. And I'm going to give you a recipe for a protein shake that I personally don't find has a huge impact on my feeling of satiety or my fullness. And this is 2 cups of whole milk, 2 scoops of whey protein, 2 tablespoons peanut butter, 1 medium banana, 1/4 cup oats, 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1/4 of an avocado. This gives you 1,100 calories with 79 grams of protein, 101 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. That is substantial, especially if you're thinking that, generally speaking, someone is going to have a daily calorie requirement during a bulk of somewhere between 2,500 all the way up to maybe around 5,500 calories. If you can have that shake in the morning and at night, we're talking 2,200 calories just like that. And you can still live your normal day. Imagine you've added that onto your maintenance. That's 2,200 calories a day, meaning that every 2 days, you're going to gain about 1.5 pounds. Over the course of a week, you could do the math, you're going to make some substantial progress. Now, the question with nutrition naturally arises, how much should I eat? What should my macros be? And this is really individual to an extent, but the scale is going to tell you what your calories should be. You have to weigh yourself on a regular basis because this is the only way you're going to be able to track your progress. Not weighing yourself during a cut or a bulk is akin to not trying a 1-rep max if you're trying to enter a powerlifting meet. There is absolutely no way that you're going to do this effectively. The reason that you step on the scale is because you can track your calories and say 3,500 calories is a pound. Okay. If I step on the scale and I've gained 1 pound in the course of a week, that means that I've had 500 excess calories a day. If I want to gain faster than that, I need to up my calories by 500. If you've lost a pound in that week, you've had 500 calorie deficit over the course of a week, per day over the course of a week. And naturally, you need to eat more. There's no arguing with this. This is just straightforward. You might feel as though I'm eating 4,000 calories and I'm not gaining weight. Well, maybe that's your maintenance. Maybe you need to eat 4,500 or 5,000 and work on the art and the practicality of how to get that in. When it comes to the macronutrient breakdown, protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight is a good place to start. If you are very high body fat, 1 gram per pound of lean body weight is a reasonable place to start. For me, I'm 330 pounds, and my protein goal is somewhere around 270 grams per day. When it comes to carbohydrates, personally, I eat upwards of 800 to 900 grams of carbohydrates, but really this is going to be your fuel, and this should be the bulk of your caloric intake. Can be upwards of 60+% of your total calories, especially if you're demanding something in the physical performance realm. The rest is going to be made up of fats, which you want to make sure that you have some healthy fats involved. Trans fats have no place in a diet. Trans fats are often coming from fried food. Saturated fat, 50-50. Depends on the literature you read. I'm not going to unpack that. Regardless, if you eat good, whole, healthy food sources, you're likely to get your micronutrients. Your macronutrients can be broken down and can be reflected on the scale, and then happy days. That's the eating portion of being able to bulk well. And this is very important to bulk clean. But the other thing that we need to do is, of course, we need to train. Training is going to be the stimulus by which our muscles are going to grow, and we are going to make progress in the direction that we want. Now, there are really 3 things when it comes to training to add mass, and Dr. Mike Israetel is the expert in this Renaissance periodization. He is right into the research, and he says really 2 things are important: stretching the muscle and mechanical tension on the muscle, so load, and working close to failure, intensity. On top of that, metabolic stress has been shown to help with muscle growth, again, working close to failure in relatively high volumes. When we compare this to strength training for powerlifting or strongman, this is going to be a higher intensity, a higher volume. You're going to work closer to failure more often, and this is going to be much better for your results. Now, when we gain weight, we don't want to gain fat. The goal is to gain as little fat as possible, regardless of who you are. Fat does not help you get strong, flat out. The only way that fat helps you get strong is if it assists you to put on more muscle, in which case there is some sort of argument to it. But there's such a host of systemic inflammation and recovery issues that can come along with having 30+% body fat, being obese. It's not something that anyone should strive to do, regardless of your acute athletic goals. So, cardio is going to be a big proponent of how we can mitigate fat gain during a bulk. Well, the reason for this is that every time you move, you're burning some combination of fat and carbohydrate. That's where you're getting your energy. The lower the intensity of the exercise, the more fat you're burning, a slower fuel source, and the less carbohydrate you're burning. The fitter you are, the more work capacity you can do at what's perceived to be a low intensity for you, meaning that you can do moderate, what might feel like moderate to an unfit person, but to you feels like nothing, and you're burning fat. So every single day, every time you walk around, every time you move, you're going to burn disproportionately more fat if you keep your aerobic fitness to a reasonable level. The difficult part to this, though, is that we don't want to do cardiovascular fitness to the point that we're adding a caloric demand. And this is where we want to improve aerobic fitness without doing too much cardio. And this is where HIIT training is beautiful. I'm a huge, huge proponent of Tabata style training, which is a 20-second all-out sprint, 10 seconds of rest, repeat that 8 times around. And this is a staple in the program that I've written, in the link in the description and in the pinned comment. Reason for this, it is the best way, Dr. Azumi Tabata found, it is the best way to improve your aerobic fitness, full stop. Even better than going out on your long runs, your zone 2 heart rates. Going hard for a total of 2 minutes can have an extremely potent effect on your cardiovascular fitness, and it will not result in a huge caloric burn. So you can burn fat You don't have to worry too much about your burning of total calories that you might have to if you operate in the fat burning zone. And you can turn yourself into a fat burning, quote unquote, machine. Now, with this and with our training and with our nutrition, we still need to focus on recovery. We still need to make sure that we can recover from all of this volume and intensity that we're doing during the workouts. And there are 3 things that you should focus on when it comes to your recovery. This is your sleep, your life stress, and your nutrition. Nutrition we've already covered. When it comes to your sleep, creating a regular sleep habit and recognizing that 6 to 8 hours is a recommendation for the general person who is not demanding something extraordinary of their body, meaning that 8 hours is sort of your new minimum. I say 8 to 10. You should have a cold room. There's a specific temperature that your room should be at, slightly colder than you would like it. You should avoid all electronics and at least shut off your blue light, and that can help you get to sleep better with your circadian rhythm. Things like blackout curtains, very important. I go through all of this in the PDF, but making sure that your sleep is on point is very, very important. And lastly, life stress. We are demanding a lot from our sympathetic nervous system when we're training, and any sort of life stress is going to add to that sympathetic drive. If our sympathetic drive goes up, well, we've got irritability, you got high blood pressure, you've got changes in appetite, a host of problems that are going to inhibit you from being able to work towards your goals. Now, of course, you can't control all of those, and I recognize that, but knowing that those are the 3 major components of how you're going to make progress or how you're not going to make progress should have a level of awareness for you that then at least gives you a thought of what you might be able to change to be able to get yourself where you'd like to be. The rate at which you gain weight is also going to be very important. The objective for you should be in around 1 to 2 pounds per week. And this is regardless of who you are. The reason for this is that we're all human beings and we can only stack on so much muscle because we can only absorb so much protein and use so much protein and break down so much muscle tissue before we just have to start putting on fat. 1 to 2 pounds per week tends to be a reasonable, healthy rate at which to gain weight. And if we talk about aerobic fitness, VO2 max is relative to your body weight, the amount of oxygen you consume per kilo of body weight that you have. If our body weight is increasing, it actually creates an obligation to increase your aerobic fitness as well, in an absolute sense, to be able to maintain the same aerobic fitness in a relative sense. Gaining weight slowly is going to allow you to do that. And it won't mean that your recovery will go down. It should not mean that you can't walk up a set of stairs. Your life should not be terrible. It should not be uncomfortable. You should be fine at that rate. Now, that is my SparkNotes YouTube version of bulking, and bulking in a way that's going to help you get towards your goals, whether that's to be bigger, that's to be stronger, that's to be more aesthetic, that's to be whatever. If bulking is part of your long-term or short-term goals, I am here to help you. Hopefully this video helps you enough. And if it hasn't, again, the new program I've released is down in the description and in the pinned comments. As per usual, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more information like this, entertainment, helping you to stay healthier in body and in mind. As per usual, lift heavy, be kind. Please subscribe. Leave a moose dropping if you have nothing else to say, and we will catch you tomorrow.